Derek, stop me if you've heard this one before, but you're the underdog against
really?
the younger opponent. You know, everybody's counting you out against the up and coming star. What do you feel like when you find yourself in this situation? I mean, do you ever feel like, why are people just not giving me the respect I deserve?
It is what it is. I'm always in like a weird spot. I don't know, man. I've done a lot in my career, and I've had a lot of great wins, and I've been here for a long time, and I've seen guys who are really good not make it this long or whatever, you know. So it is what it is. I always accredit that to, like, that's my own foolishness. I went into some fights and been a little too aggressive, and I could have had better moments in those fights, and I didn't. And, you know, it always put me in this weird spot. But I've always stayed relevant, you know. So, and I'm still here relevant in these big fights.
Do you kind of enter with a chip on your shoulder ever? Do you almost enjoy it, like relish it? Like, I'm going to prove to these people, you know, that don't give me the respect I deserve or that doubt me.
Well, you know, I'm always looking for, like, self-approval. So, like, you can never make people happy or the fans happy. Like, the fans in this sport, they're a little different from other sports. 1 minute you go out there and knock somebody out, they're like, oh man, this is the greatest thing. And then, you know, let's say the next fight you go out there and it's not so exciting. They're like, oh, you suck, you know? So it's like, whoa, man, this is like super bipolar, super weird. So I'm just more focused on myself and like bettering myself and making sure that I'm at the top of my game and getting better each fight.
Yeah. And I think most people would say you are right now, right? I mean, despite how long you've been in the game, this might be the best that you're ever performing. So what do you attribute that to? I mean, is it something physically, tactically, mentally? What do you attribute your success right now?
I always had it in me. I was just, you know, not patient, always rushing, you know, always. It's fights, even the Whitaker fight. Let's go back to that. I was the favorite in that fight, you know, and I went out there and I'm like, you know, I felt like I had the mental edge. And then I just went out there and just rush. And, you know, a lot of fights, you know, even let's go to Romero fight. I was winning the whole fight, and he caught me with like a minute left. I would have won 30-27, you know. So it's like I've had an Anderson Silva fight. I won that fight, you know, and I got robbery of the year by, you know, 3 different MMA outlets. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of those moments, some unluck, and just, you know, sometimes my fault also. So it's just all about putting it together and fighting right at the right time.
Yeah. So Kevin asked for this fight, and you were willing to take it. I know you guys had a little bit of a history together. Was that why you were willing to take it, or what was it that appealed to you?
It was just another guy that, you know, had a lot of hype. There was opportunity for me to take out. I was offered a guy that was in the top 10, and I turned it down because I was looking for a top 5, and I kept asking for a top 5 guy. And then the last thing is like, well, Holland's available. I'm like, oh. So I'm talking with my manager. I'm like, okay, well, if we don't take this fight, then who's left? And they're like, we're looking around. Like, we asked for everybody, so nobody. So, you know, this was the fight to make, you know. So I get up for any fight. I'm excited for any fight, you know. Every fight is a different challenge, and, you know, I'm always for it.
Nice. I'm curious if, like, mentally you had to approach this one a little bit different, right? Because you said it, you know, you've been a little too aggressive sometimes or a little too reckless sometimes. And, you know, I think about, like, with Adesanya, you guys kind of went at it and it got kind of personal. I think Kevin would probably like to make it personal with you. Like,
yeah.
Is it personal, or have you had to make sure, like, I can't let this get personal?
He tried so many times to make it personal. But I'm laughing because I'm like, okay, you can say as much as you want to, but at the end of the day, like, the way that I fought Izzy, I mean, even look at that fight. A lot of people are like, you got destroyed, but really, I did it. Like, the fight, I would have won the first round. It was 30 seconds left. My hands got caught up on his shorts. They broke us. I shot right back in, very predictable, and he kneed me. And then he caught me with, you know, he was able to get the finish there. But it's not like I was getting picked apart the whole fight. But it's moments in the fight where I didn't make great decisions, you know. So, yeah, Hollands would like to make it personal, and he would like to follow the same thing Izzy did with the hype. And it's funny, he's using the exact same thing Izzy said. He's calling me bum son. It's like, bro, Izzy said the exact same thing. You're trying to do exactly what he did. So I haven't been engaging with him in that fact because I'm going to fight the way that I've been fighting my previous couple fights. You know, I'm going to look to knock you out regardless. You know, so like, I'm not going to be satisfied unless I trap your arms and I just dominate you and TKO you. So, like, you know, that's how the fight is going to go. No matter what's said or how it's said or how much trash you talk or I talk, you know, it's not gonna change the way that the fight.
last thing for me, it's crazy. I mean, those names you were just rattling off. I mean, you fought everybody. It's insane. There's a lot of big fights going on in this division right now, right? So, I mean, have you guys sat down and strategized? I mean, I know you don't want to look past this at all, but it feels like there's going to be some big opportunities real soon. So, a win here, what do you think you deserve?
My goal has always to get that title shot, and I've been right there, but I haven't. It's been twice, if I would have won those fights, I would have got title shots, but I didn't do that. I didn't perform well. I was a little too aggressive. So, take care of this fight, and a big fight is right there, I wouldn't even be opposed to a title shot, I'll be a 4-fight winning streak. A lot of other guys, Whitaker's on a huge streak, so obviously he deserves it most, but, Costa don't deserve it, And even guys like that, I asked to fight him, and I was trying to fight Costa, and his thing was he was injured until a certain date, but he was asking for other fights a certain date, It's like, what do you do, So, like I said, I'm aiming for the stars, and I keep taking care of these guys that, are next in line for title shots, et cetera, et cetera. So, why not me?
You mentioned that you're not letting Kevin Holland just get to you this time. You're not playing into it. But what do you think of his sort of whole persona and shtick? What do you think of it all?
I don't care. I mean, he does what he needs to do. If that's what he feel he needs to do to stay around, to stay relevant, to march up. I look at like a guy like Rumble Johnson. He didn't talk. He knocked people's teeth out, and he got 2 title shots. He might have even got a title shot coming off of, maybe he won a fight and then got another title shot. But, everybody have different ways of getting to the top, So if he want to talk, that's fine, But like I said, it's not gonna bother me. It's not gonna stop the way that I fight.
Is there some sort of confidence going into this fight that if you win on Saturday, like those top 5 guys who never seem to say yes to you can't say no anymore?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's no other alternative at this point. They'll have to give me the fight that I want. That's going to catapult me to that title shot.
Costa's out of his fight now. Is that, you said you called him already? Could that be?
I don't even know. I don't even know I want to fight Costa anymore. I asked to fight him, and it was just all types of excuses that I couldn't fight. And then all of a sudden it's like he asking for fights on the same day. So like I said, I'm looking to jump these guys. If they don't want to fight me, then you're asking for a title shot after you just lost a title shot. Pretty handily. It's like that don't even really make sense. So yeah, we'll see what happens. First things first is this Saturday, and then, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're aiming for something bigger for sure.
It's funny, right? Because if you come out and say, like, get a first-round KO, and then Till and Vittori do a 5-round boring decision, and then Whitaker and Gastelum do a 5-round boring decision, suddenly you're right there, right? Does that play in your mind?
Absolutely. I'm on a huge streak. I fought It's like this. Fans can say, any media can say, you can say, oh, you lost this guy, but like everybody loses to everybody at the top unless you're the champion. And then if you lose your belt, then you lose to other people too. So everybody fight the same type of guys. It's just guys sometimes fight a smarter, strategic way to get to a title fight or to get the title. But everybody have to fight each other. Rematches have to go on. There's been guys who fought. Like, who was that? Junior Dos Santos, Velasquez. They fought the first time. I think JDS knocked him out. They rematched 3 years later, and what happened? It was he got dominated for 5 rounds. Kane won. So that can take place. So.